just want to run through just a couple things.
All right.
Certainly no performance, but just kind of some, because when we had talked on the our conversation, you were saying you were doing some kind of unique routing things. That
Yes. I mean, basically the center of my world is this very old and ancient XT32 pod bass pedal.
Yeah.
Pedal board rather, that I programmed years ago, fell in love with all the tones. I told you this when we did our thing, you know, that I modeled all my stuff in a lot of ways after a lot of Chris's patches and some of Jocko's things and stuff like that. And it has become just, it's on so many records I've made that I can't let go of it. And really, the auto wah that's in there that does the sort of, you know, the cue emulation, it's been dialed the same way. I haven't touched the setting in decades because it just works so perfectly for what I want to do. When I got the new Helix, I thought, oh, cool, transition. And I couldn't make it do what this one does. Right. So I just remained. But anyway, this is sort of the main unit with all of the different various patches that I've got. And we'll run through a couple of them. And so I've got, you know, banks for all the different basses and different patches. This is kind of my main patch, which has a really subtle chorusing thing. This is the sort of Silent Wings wah kind of. You know, obviously the way the wah's set, depending on how hard I give it, you know. You know, I can really make it quack. And then I've got, for Tempest Fusion, that really cool bass that Chris used to have, the Electra. Yeah. That had the flanger
the modules,
packs.
Right?
Yeah. So obviously I don't have one of those basses, so I simulated that for it's got all that sort of flangey stuff, which is nice. And then, you know, for Starship Trooper, which has that classic Squire tremolo thing, I've got a bit of a patch going. Just gives it that thing. Yeah. And then for the end, the sort of bass solo fuzz stuff. Kind of cool. So I've got all that going on in there, and then what I do is MIDI that to over to here, which is let me just switch this so this will start getting out of control. This is my rack that pedal board comes into here on 2 channels, and then I have another Line 6 Helix up here that comes into here, and I use this to sort of just to supplement, you know, if I'm programming over there because it's so old, it has its limitations. So if I need a little more 6K or something, you know, I'll go over to here and get a parametric EQ on it, or if I want some reverb. So this kind of supplements it with nicely. That goes into there. But those two things get blended together and go out to front of house in stereo, which is what you'll hear tonight. And then for on stage, that same signal comes out into these, which is, correct me if I'm wrong, LS 410s and 215s. Is that what we got here? On the back of here?
410s and then 15 on each one on the bottom.
Yeah.
So you have,
and it's stereo, so you get all the effects and stuff. And they were so kind to give me all this stuff, which I've been using for so long now. I can't even remember when we started now. It's been so long, Tech 21. And these are the power amps that take care of that. The third one is just a spare in case something goes wrong, but it hasn't since I had this rig, which is great. And then this thing is TC Helicon 2, I think is what it is. And I programmed my voice in a way with some nice effects and some nice reverb, and it's nice in stereo. That goes into there as well, and it goes into my ears. And also that's what Dean at Front of House uses for his sound. Because I'm kind of an audio engineer, sort of control freak, I wanted it to sound the way I knew I wanted it to sound, and then he just does his thing from there. So I don't know if you can see this over here, but
Super easy, yeah.
we can pull this off for a minute. So you've got the I don't know if you can see that, but so this is the first. These two are that X pod on the bottom.
Yeah.
This is the second one is the helix.
Yeah.
The third one is my vocals, and the fourth one, or well, not in sequence, but is the bass pedals.
Okay.
The Moog Taurus bass pedals, which are kind of a classic Yes thing. And then all of that stuff is blended, as I said, goes to front of house. And then Simone, our monitor mixer, who's right next to me, gives me all of this stuff, which is a drum comp.
Yeah.
And I get the mix together the way I want. He sends it to me in stereo. Jeff Downs' keyboard rig, Steve's guitars, Steve's acoustic guitars, John's vocal, and John's acoustic guitar.
So you're getting a sum of all of Jeff's keys?
I get a stereo sum of it.
Sum of that.
Yeah, and the way I do it is I compress it. I put it on a pretty strong compressor on Jeff's rig, so that where he needs these variables in volume, I don't. I want it to be stable. So I keep it squished quite hard, but it just remains right there for me through the night, so it's consistent. And the same with Steve. I'll kind of compress the things coming into me so that I know they're not going to spike and get weird. And that's essentially the sort of audio side of it. And then my second iPad up here, a lot of people think I'm playing video games or checking emails. But this is where I have any kind of cheat sheet notes that I played this Heart of the Sunrise so many times. But I just want to make sure for my head, if I'm in the moment and start spacing out where we're heading, I have the couple of areas where I want to make sure. So I just have little notes, some lyrical things, different charts. This 5% for Nothing, which we're playing this time, and this little progression in roundabout that always slips my mind, even though I've played it so many times.
Yeah, our minds will do that. They'll just kind of reset for a second.
It does. Oops, wait, where's that going? And then Soon and some other things. So this is, I've grown used to this setup, and I really like it and rely on it, because it used to be little sheets of paper on the ground everywhere, Now it's just so clean and easy that way. And then, I just use the 57 or 58, I think he's got up here.
Yeah.
And that's it. Other than the techie part, I have a volume pedal just to make sure when I'm not playing and I walk off stage to, switch a bass, I'm not unplugging with through the PA. And that's kind of my rig. And this is Ellis. Come on in here for a minute, bro. My tech.
Where am I looking?
And Ellis is great, takes care of all my gear and, makes sure everything's good. And together we kind of make a team here inside of the Yes Camp and get the job done the right way. To be fair, Squire was notorious for being super loud on stage.
Right.
And even when we played together, I'd have to beg him to turn down because it would bleed into my mic and I couldn't sing. I was like, Chris, please, just a little. So for me, and even long before I was in Yes in my own bands, my stage volume has never been so loud that it starts getting into my mic and screwing up the singing, So I've got my amps driving the stage, but they're not crazy loud like Chris has got it,
Isn't that why you kind of point it that way?
And that's the thing, I set it up so that it's directional, these mics. So it's also getting that benefit of not being hit by that, And then in ears every night, which we should grab those. I endorse this company, which I've been with for years, Ultimate Ears.
Yeah.
And they've been really good to me, and I just absolutely love the way these sound. I just picked up a new pair before we started this tour, and they sound amazing. We've got the low-end drivers just kicking, and there's no distortion or anything, so I've got more gain than I could possibly ever want, clarity. So because of all this stuff and being able to manipulate it all myself, I get it into this zone that it's so consistent night to night that part of the equation is just gone. And that's a huge thing, because I just did a solo tour where I didn't have the advantage of using the in-ears the way that I'm used to. And it's, I'm spoiled doing it this way for so long.
Yeah.
So this stuff makes it easy, and Ultimate Ears is just the way I've gone forever. They make great stuff, and I love the way they sound. You know?
I love the depth to which that you've summed everything, and you've really tailored the EQ of it, because a long tour, the fatigue of in-ears,
Yeah.
if it's not sitting just right where you want to hear it,
Yeah.
it just
Well, and
makes
the
for a
danger
long
of spikes too.
Spikes, right, yeah.
You know what I mean? I've been using in-ears since the first Yes tour I did in '94, and you know that the technology has evolved.
Yeah.
And so that first set of in-ears I had, you know, and I wasn't in control of my own monitor mix at that point. And I got a spike on one of those shows that came from God knows where. And, you know, you're stuck while you're playing. You can't just pull them out. And I just thought, I've got to be in control of this, because I can't have that happening. So that's when I sort of started changing the way I do things. And it's been a benefit. And it makes for better playing, because you can just be in the zone without thinking about all that stuff. I'm never thinking about what's going on with the mix right now, because it's just like a record every night inside there. Especially with this music, because there's a lot going on, as you know.
So you're using the 5-string. You've got 3 guitars to use.
Yeah,
the
I mean,
Tiger, the Denim, and the.
It's a funny thing with this bass, because this has become my favorite bass. And I was a Spectre for decades. Yeah, and they're very good to me. And PJ and Stuart over there just took care of me. But then they sold their company to Korg, and at that point, I kind of asked them, you know, it's almost like it was a marriage or something breaking up. I said, would you mind if I dated another bass? So they said, no, man, do your thing. So I wasn't sure what I wanted to play. I bought a couple of different basses here and there. But I just so happened to be in LA working on something in the studio. And I like to go into pawn shops just to look around and see if there's any interesting stuff that, you know, guitar-wise, or maybe someone selling something unique or something. And this bass was on the wall, and I had never played an Ibanez before, because I don't know, for some reason I just never did. This was on the wall. I loved the way it looked, and I was like, can I play that for you? They brought it down and played it. And the neck's nice and thin the way I like it. It doesn't weigh a ton for my shoulder, because I'm getting older, and you know that becomes painful. Plays like butter. And so I started playing this thing, and we were out on the road on the first tour that I brought it out, and Mike and the guys from Ibanez reached out and said, we see you're playing that bass. I said, yeah, I love it. They said, well, we want to do something with you, but why are you playing that one? Because it's kind of the lower end of the scale.
Right.
I didn't know that. I just loved it and fell in love with it. So I still don't care about what part of the scale it's on. But that being said, they have given me some gorgeous basses, which if you want to grab your camera, we can look in my bass trunk. Billy Sherwood model, if you will. Yeah. And I said, you know, I mean, I love these basses the way you guys make them. I don't know what that I would want to change. Uh-huh. Do you guys have an 8-string? And they said, no. And I said, well, could you build one of those for me? So we got to talking about the design, and I had a hand in the sort of the look of it, and Ellis helped as well, kind of just putting ideas into the mix. And they built me this thing, which is gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous. Wow. And I mean, this headstock is just perfect, you know. 8 strings are tricky because
intonation-wise,
intonation is the first thing. Yeah. And so, you know, to get up through all this double octave in tune is a miracle. And this one is absolutely picture perfect. And it'll sit for weeks without being tuned. I'll pick it up. It's perfect. Yeah. So that's something. And then the actual look of it with the color and the paint that they did and the electronics and the pickups and everything. Yeah. It's like my flagship bass, you know, which I used on the last tour quite a bit. And I'll tell you, when we were doing the set list came down for this tour, I was looking at it and I'm thinking, I can't really play this on anything because it just doesn't, you know, it's got to be the right tool for the job. And we're just not playing anything that will work for that. Now Alyssa's like, can you play it on this? Can you play it on that? I'm like, I can't. It's not designed for that. So sadly on this tour, it's sitting in the locker in the bass vault here. But yeah, this is my favorite of all of them.
Takes me back to the story of you and Chris doing the bass duet.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. When we did Bolero, is that what it was called? I think so. We did a. Yeah. Oh, you're thinking of the Talk Tour.
The Talk Tour in '94.
Yeah, he was on the 5, I was on the 4.
Yeah.
We did a thing on a solo tour that we did in '92, I think it was, where we took dun to the Bolero theme,
Yeah.
and we went off on that too, which was a lot of fun. Anyway, that's my
gorgeous.
favorite. It's absolutely gorgeous. Plays like butter. And then let's just run through this one. This is we call it the denim because
The denim, yeah.
it looked like a denim sort of jean bass to me.
And you've got truss rod adjustment at the
That's more of an Ellis question than me. I have no idea.
Truss
I've never
rods,
looked.
truss rods at the heel on
yeah,
this
the
one.
heel there. Yeah.
Yeah. And, the one thing that's a little odd I think anyway, is I program all my sounds over there.
Yeah.
So I have my main sound that I'll go into the studio and just listen to the bass direct in the studio and get the tone coming off the bass that I want. Once I'm there, I lock it in with marks. So we actually paint little things on here to make sure that everything's where it's supposed to be. So once I've got the first bass, which was the Tiger bass that I showed you earlier there, once that was locked in with the tone, I then plug this one in and I'll compare and contrast and make sure that, generally speaking, they all have a different character, but generally they're in that same ballpark so that they're going to hit the effects and respond the same way, So the basses, I either tape these knobs down in some cases, which he hates, or he got me to just paint these little thingies on here that they did for me. But it makes me paranoid because I have to make sure they're there before I play the damn thing. So that's kind of my method. But this bass is gorgeous color, and I mean just the craftsmanship on these basses is wonderful. I really love them.
What kind of neck is that?
What is it? Alder?
No. I think it's
See,
it's
it's like
either
a
mahogany with. I don't know what the.
Like an ebony fingerboard mahogany bass? Beautiful.
No, rosewood fingerboard.
rosewood.
I don't know if it's Indian. It's probably Indian rosewood. And then it looks like a mahogany back. I don't know what the stripes of wood are through the middle, but that's usually the common. So it's either ash and then they'll do like rosewood.
Yeah.
I know this one, the H strings, maple, ebony, and then they did, I think, aluminum brushed inlays.
Yeah.
And then I had them put lumen lays in because you're a little blind sometimes.
I play without the glasses on because it starts sweating and I can't have. So I lose a little bit of visibility there. So anything that helps.
Yeah, I wear contacts, but I gotta have readers.
Yeah.
Not live, but it does get tricky.
I got my
especially-
readers in my pocket. I mean, I need them both ways. Then this is a bass. This is so funny. My girlfriend, Kim, when we got together, we went to a guitar store. This is before I had the Ibanez endorsement. I had the Tiger bass and I brought it to England. I'm playing it, preparing for a tour. And she's asking me what it is. I explained to her, Ibanez, I love this brand. And so we go to a Guitar Center to buy something, I forget what it was, picks, whatever it was. And this was on the wall, and I said, oh man, that thing looks gorgeous.
Yeah, it's lovely.
She says, play it. I'm like, no, not right now. I just spent a bunch of money on this or that. She said, just play it. So I played it and put it back. And about a week later, she was at work, and I was at home, and the delivery guy came and knocked on the door with this massive box. He said, are you Billy Sherwood? I said, yeah. I said, bring in the box, and I call her. I'm like, there's a very large box that just showed up here. What's going on? So she bought me this bass, which is amazing.
Awesome.
I really enjoy playing it. I use it on Soon
Yeah.
and Onward tonight. No fret markers because I'm kind of used to it that way. I do have them on this, obviously here, but no fret markers, which I like. And it's a gorgeous finish. Again, Ellis could tell you what kind of wood this is.
Very
I don't
Jocko
know.
approved.
Yeah, I mean, it's my interpretation of that world
Yeah.
as best I can. I don't claim to be great at that part. And then obviously there's the marks again,
Yeah.
so that all the tones relate.
This one's tricky because this one had the piezo built into the saddle. So
Oh, really?
yeah, this
Yeah.
one it's if you
That's
flip it
very
over, you can
interesting.
kind of see. I don't know if I don't know if it's directly in the saddle, but I know there's another
Yeah,
fun aspect to this one. It's really light too.
it's really light.
It's like 3 pounds.
And
So
again,
to access that, do you need a TRS cable to,
No, it's
or it
it's
just blends
TS.
in with the other magnetic?
It works just fine. It's almost like plug and play. I think it just gives you more sonic qualities. I'm not sure. I haven't really. Once it's set, it never changes. So I just make sure the marks are where they need to be, and then
Yeah.
I'm off the hook.
Beautiful, and I love the finish. You know, this sort of sunburst, classic sunburst thing is
Yeah.
really cool. Anyway, that's the
Lovely.
fretless.
Yeah.
And then they just before this tour, they gave me this 5-string version of that with the F hole. It's got the
Oh, yeah.
yeah,
Beautiful.
and that's really cool. And I used that in London. I didn't bring it out on this tour because there was nowhere to put it in the set. But it is on the new Yes record we're making now, and it has a really cool tone. It almost kind of reminded me of a bit like, I don't know if you've ever heard the Jethro Tull A record.
Oh, yeah.
Dave
It was-
Pegg.
Yeah, it was kind of almost like a Ian Anderson solo album.
Yeah, it's
Eddie-
like my favorite
Eddie
Tull
Outfit
record,
and-
Jobson, and
yeah.
But Dave Pegg's bass playing on there, I always love. But it's kind of got that tone. And I finished the track for the Yes thing, I was like, what is this reminding me of? And then I recalled it. I was like, oh. So it's got that cool sort of mid-rangey thing. It's not very boomy and really nice. And then we have this thing, which is amazing because we were playing some things. We played not Rhythm of Love. What did we play?
No,
Yeah, Rhythm of Love.
Rhythm of Love.
Did Rhythm of Love. So I needed a 5-string, and they gave me this beautiful thing, which is gorgeous. This finish is really
Yeah.
cool. It's almost got 2 colors going
Yeah.
on inside of it.
Chameleon. I forget the name. It's like a chameleon burst. So depending on which way you look at it, it's like purple, green, and then they match the headstock, which is really neat.
Yeah, it's quite heavy, but
It's too heavy.
it's really fun to play.
Yeah, it's
And
funny 'cause in the back it looks almost chromish, like
Yeah,
a blue chromish.
I know it's weird. If you look, and you can
wild.
see it spins. The colors change, especially in the light. It looks purple at points,
Yeah.
and then green, and it's quite cool. So I love playing this, and there's those marks again.
Yeah.
So everything's in the zone, and it's just a gorgeous bass. Interesting inlays too. I like the inlays they got going for this one. But I use this on South Side of the Sky tonight.
5%.
5% for Nothing, and one other one, I think.
Where's my set
It's
list?
escaping me right now. Is it?
Here he. We have,
We have Heaven. Yeah. So, I mean, it's obviously Yes isn't really a 5-string band,
right.
but Chris did go there for a period, so I figured, I'll honor him in that way and do it. So, beautiful bass. Love this bass.
Yeah.
And then
Nice collection.
this is another one that they gave me, which is pretty straight ahead in its sort of look.
Yeah.
It's just really gorgeous. But I actually use this every day as like a dressing room bass, so that I can get my warm-up stuff in before the show, and tones are matched again and everything like that, and it plays like butter. All their basses have that really thin, almost like a jazz neck size, so my hands can get around the damn thing.
Get area
Rotosound.
Rotosound.
Yeah, I've been with Rotosound for decades. They've been really good to me. I mean, one of the first bass I bought, I put Rotos on it because Jocko
Yeah.
and Chris. It was like, okay, these 2 guys must know what's going on, So yeah, I mean, I've been using Rotosounds forever. And that's kind of my world. This is my bass trunk that I've had. Gosh, this goes way back with Yes. I mean, I had this back in '96. I got it for the Open Your Eyes ladder tour, And it's got all kinds of little weird trinkets in here and stuff.
Do not feed the holograms.
This buddy of mine named Sean gave me this because I'm a huge Star Wars fan. And this goes back to like when we were touring in the 90s, Chris Squire's cheat sheets for Close to the Edge.
Oh, yeah.
And, we just put them in there, Chris did, to hang on to them, and just haven't been able to take them out. I don't want to take them out.
Yeah.
Everyone
Yeah.
likes the sign, steal the old ones. That's been the...
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, that's my world. And then I don't know if there's anything else
that's
interesting
fine.
really, but
Thanks so much, guys.
I think that's kind of it. Yeah. So there you go.
Yeah, beautiful.
All right, John.
Thanks so
I'm
much.
gonna go
man.
get ready and
Thanks, Alice.